But fair.
Okay. Speaking of fair, okay, I got nothing. Hello, and welcome to Famicast 106. This is Famicast for the second part of July 2017. I'm your host, Danny Bivens, and today I'm joined by James Charlton.
Good things come to those who wait. Am I right?
Well, I don't know about you, but sure.
No, the podcast is like heavily delayed.
Oh, yes. Oh, it'll be fine.
But it's going to be amazing. That's what I was kind of hinting at.
As the person who always introduces themselves fourth, yes, I agree with this.
To keep on with that trend, also joined by Ty Sugart.
Yes, Cooler Media's running wild, boys.
That's just cold now, isn't it? That's just cruel.
And perennial fourth placer, Cyrus Delaney.
That's me, the cool guy.
Sorry, Cyrus.
I guess Danny subconsciously does it by like amount of appearances on the show. I guess he does it in like that order.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just doing it. You know, I never really went into like the
meanness.
Well, that could be a thing too. Like
I always thought it was a seniority thing.
Seniority, right?
Senor, yes. None of us speak Spanish here. Ty, sorry.
The least Spanish.
Damn it.
Cyrus is definitely the least Spanish.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Cool. Well, we got another exciting show for you guys here today. We're going to go ahead and kick things off with new business.
Whoop.
And I'll tell you what, Cyrus, do you mind stepping up to the plate, going first this time?
Oh man, I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah, you know what? We better just. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Episode ruined.
So I've been playing the Zeldas.
Mm.
So so I'm still on my Breath of the Wild kick, but I actually just finished it today.
Oh,
so,
wow.
What?
But
Wow.
finishing Breath of the Wild is very relative because I've put like 70 hours into the game and
Jesus.
I beat the last boss. I've been on like an absurd numbers of trains and airplanes over the last couple of weeks. So I had a lot of Switch time, which is one of the reasons I really wanted to get a Switch before I had all these planes and stuff, because this was a good test host.
You are the commercial, basically.
I am. I literally picked it up before I left. I started playing on the plane. I set it up. Even I tried to put it on the tray table like they do in the plane to see what it was like. And it worked pretty well. I brought my little Joy-Con clip just so I could get the full commercial experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked pretty good, except I had to kind of prop the Switch up on a bunch of books, because if you just leave it on the tray table, it's hella low in front of you. So you're like trying to look down on the screen.
I remember people saying that at that initial video, saying like, "Isn't that like first class? That guy." Like no regular people are gonna experience that.
It was pretty good. It was also a good test of its like battery life, of like how you can. So I brought like a backpack full of batteries. That was pretty much all I brought with me to Italy. And
what? Just double A's?
Just a bunch of, they wouldn't fit. I wasted all that money. Like, but so like playing Zelda, you get like about 2.5 hours, kind of the standard for it. But I was on so many airplanes, they all have plugs at this point, or USB ports.
Nice.
So I was able to just keep it charged the entire time without any hassle. So
aren't they usually USB 2 or 3 on planes though? Not
yeah.
C? Did you have a adapter or whatever?
Well, it doesn't matter, because I mean the way it plugs in. I mean the C goes into the Switch, and then there's the regular USB thingy on the other side.
Yeah. So it was enough power to keep it charged anyway. So I don't know what setting they have on it, but the game is still like, it's still so good. That game is just like, I can't get over how good that Zelda game is. But
did you get the DLC?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, nice. I haven't even got that yet.
I got the DLC, and so the main hook of this DLC, is the Master Trials, which I haven't done yet, and I'm not really interested in doing, so I don't know. But they have this map thing where it like shows where you've been, and I actually feel that kind of ruins the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when I was playing it, I forgot I had that thing for the first while, and I was just exploring everywhere. And then, like, I go over my own path. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember where I am now. And I'd be like, oh, there was something over here I'm meant to check out. And I, like, by my own accord, I would kind of explore the world. And then once I remembered I had that map like thing to check where I had been, the temptation was always there just to be like, hey, I can just, instead of exploring, I can just check my map to see if I've been here or where I haven't been. And I can very easily find a new place to explore that I know I haven't been yet. So I think it's a good feature, but I don't like it.
I don't know. Like, I haven't bought it yet, but I mean, I played like 100 hours or so. So, like, for me, I know there's got to be a lot of areas that I haven't visited. So, I mean, personally, I would rather look at something like that and be like, okay, cool. I've already put 100 hours in. If I want to do any more exploring, I'd like a little bit more guided type of experience.
And
So Cyrus, were you surprised, like, what areas you'd missed? Like, there were a lot of places?
There was huge swaths of places where I thought I had, like, thoroughly explored all the mountains, and then I looked at this map, and I'm like, oh, wow, I missed, like, a huge pizza slice of these mountains. So I went back up. And like Danny said, this is, like, perfect post-game DLC, which is almost why I think they put it as DLC and why it was not included in the actual game. I think they wanted people to play it without this option first, and then once they had a few months, then they got to turn it on. But
so it sounds like you're not really ready for the DLC. You'd rather just play more of the regular game before doing that, right?
Yes, I think that is exactly how it would be. The game is without the DLC, without all the extra masks you can unlock, without the Master Quest, without that tracker, the game is perfect. But then with all this extra stuff kind of on top of it, I feel like, ooh, maybe I should do this thing. Maybe I should not do this thing. And it kind of distracts me away from the perfect pacing the game already has.
Interesting.
So it's kind of a weird situation where, like, I would really recommend people not buy the DLC until they have finished the game or finished as far as they want to.
Okay. What's your shrine count and the count for the Koroks and all that stuff?
I don't know, but so I was going through it and I was like, okay, I don't care about getting all the Korok seeds. That's insane. But and
anything less than 700, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're a loser.
But when I was playing it first, I thought there was, like 100 Korok seeds in the game, and I was finding them everywhere. And I'm like, man, I'm so good at this. Like, I'm finding Korok seeds everywhere. And then I just, like, found out that, oh wait, there's 900 and you only need 400 of them. But okay, that makes sense. But so I think
also, 400 maxes out everything.
I think 441 maxes out everything, and after that, it's you do get something for getting all 900, but that's for you to find. Okay. And there's I think I got about 100, maybe 200 of those. Probably about 200. Wow.
Man, I didn't even break 100. I don't even think I even broke 70.
Yeah, I did a pretty thorough sweep of the world, but even before I started looking at the player tracker, whatever it's called.
Right.
I got how many hero shrines? Oh, I don't know. I've got like 2. Like, I just started on my second row of hearts, and I've got like 3 stamina wheels. So I don't know how much that is, but
quite a bit. Yeah.
I got quite a bit, and I was kind of working my way around the world clockwise, and I hadn't really noticed. But for whatever reason, whenever I play games, I reach a point and I'm done. Like, my brain is just like, okay, I've had my fun. I'm just going to finish it. So there's never like this wind down period. I'm just finished with the game and I'll never touch it again. So I kind of got in a wheel. I got about 3/4 way around the map, really thoroughly exploring everything. And then I could feel that setting in where I'm like, I'm kind of done. I've had my 60 plus hours of
right.
So from that point I just said, okay, I'm gonna hit all the story content, and just started going through the dungeons one by one to like the actual story dungeons. And then
wow, you played that much before even tackling any of that stuff?
Man, like, when I started playing the game, I said, okay, there's a story mission. I'm going to check over here for a second. And then like 30 hours later, I was like, oh, maybe I should go to that first waypoint. So at the first waypoint, you're given your first set of armor, and you're given like all this stuff. So I played the game on like accidentally mega hard mode for like the first 30 hours, where I had no equipment, and I I can't remember what I was missing. I was missing so much of it, but
Walking
like,
around in your underpants with a wooden sword, yeah.
Then after about 20, maybe 15, 20 hours, I beat one shrine where the reward was a pair of pants, and I was like, oh man, new pants! This is the best thing.
Trousers or pants in your version?
That's imagination. You can find that out when you play Breath of the Wild.
Well, this is a big sell point, you know. If it's pants, that's it. No dice.
So overall, the game is fantastic. It is so good. I cannot stress it. It's also like one of the most interesting stories. The story is presented really strangely, but like after playing what did I play? Twilight Princess, which had a really terrible representation of Princess Zelda in that game. That right. Breath of the Wild is like hands down the most interesting Zelda Link dynamic of any of the games I've played. So I really liked that. Even though there's very little story content, it's still really good.
So are you happy for them to stick with this format from now on out? Like not very much story, but just a massive world to explore?
I would like them to do more with the story part. Now that they've nailed open world, after like the 50 hours, the 40 hours, you can see where the game starts to repeat itself a little bit.
Nice.
Like there's very few enemies. There's you kind of get the gist of what the Korok Seed challenges are. So there's, if they did the same game but more, it would still be just as amazing, I think. So I don't know. My mind is not made up on that particular point.
I think there's a strong chance we'll get a Majora's Mask type, you know, not reskin, but like, you know, using the same engine but just different story. Like I'm not saying it's going to happen next year. It could be like near the end. It could be near the end of the Switch's life. Like, you know, like Majora's Mask was like, you know, crazy late, right?
Yeah,
but
and
it might happen.
If they wanted to, they have another story ready to go based on the way this game has its storyline set up. They could do a previously on version of this game, and it would have just as an exciting a story as the one you play now. So if they wanted to, they could easily do Breath of the Wild 1.5 kind of thing.
First breath.
Yeah, first Breath of the Wild. Inhalation of the Wild.
First breath part 2.
Oh.
Yeah, but so if you don't have Zelda, somehow you're one of like the people who managed to not pick up this game with the Switch. You're weird. You should fix that.
Well, no one listening to this, no English speakers. There are probably people in Japan who bought like 1-2 Switch and like, what is it, Dragon Quest
Heroes,
Heroes, and that was it.
Gross.
There's a bunch of guys probably like that.
Yep. No, I mean, when I pre-ordered one of the games, well, thank God the guy next to me pre-ordered Zelda, but he also pre-ordered Dragon Quest Heroes, and after playing the demo for that, the 9,000 yen price tag also wasn't doing it for me either.
Did he beat him to death with his own shoes?
Well, it's his money, so I was like, okay, fine, man. Whatever.
You're a fairer man than I am.
Yeah, without the attachment of fan service, I could never play Dragon Quest Heroes.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. It's not very good.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't feel obliged to talk about it.
Yeah.
So very quickly before I go on, I also picked up Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on your play thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we mentioned on another show a couple of shows ago, my girlfriend is a crazy Tetris fan. Like she's just weirdly good at Tetris. So so I picked this up because I got the demo first and we just played a few rounds and she was like, this is good. So I got her that basically as her game. And she'd never played Puyo Puyo before, I think. And the game is really smart the way it blends the two games because they're totally different games, but they managed to work really well together. But I feel this game is definitely designed for people who have played Puyo Puyo before and have never really played Tetris and not the other way around.
Huh? Who's not played Tetris but only played Puyo Puyo?
Well, that's my girlfriend and me for a large part. I knew the basics of Puyo Puyo, but I had never really played it.
Oh, okay. You said the opposite of what you.
Oh,
just
sorry.
said.
Yeah.
Never
So
mind.
this is designed for people who know how to play Puyo Puyo and don't really care about Tetris, kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's not me. I don't
So,
care
like-
about Puyo Puyo at all.
yeah, and so while when you're playing, there's a story mode, an elaborate, very lengthy dialogue sequence story mode in Puyo Puyo Tetris. Like Chica, my fiance, she just hammers A through that story mode. Like no one knows what's going on because they just keep talking, and it's all fully voice acted. It's insane how long the story mode is.
Oh, God.
And so like when you play the Tetris levels, like when you play your first Tetris levels, they're all quite easy. They're just like standard Tetris. There's nothing you can really teach someone about Tetris. It's just Tetris.
Yeah.
But then the Puyo Puyo levels, like to play Puyo Puyo, you have to have some forward thinking. It's not a just drop blocks and hope for the best kind of game. You actually have to plan out your moves. And you know, if you just drop two things together and they blow up, then you get basically no points. But if you set up one thing to blow up so it drops more Puyos and sets off a chain reaction, then you do a ton of points and a ton of damage to the opponent. So this stuff, they have a tutorial to try and teach you this, but it kind of takes for granted that you already know how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend, having never played Puyo Puyo before, was very, very confused. And I felt she was getting very frustrated very quickly in any level that forced her to use Puyo Puyo. So it's kind of weird how it takes for granted that you know the basics of Puyo Puyo without.
I could never get my head around those kind of match 3 ones like that. I'm Tetris guy all the way.
Mhm.
But by the way, did you download this? Is this full price?
I don't plan on buying any game cards for a while. I just download just download games.
Who would buy a game card of a game like this, eh? Right?
Yeah. What kind of loser would do that? No, I mean, yes, I mean, I have this too. I think you guys have probably played more than I have. Like, I think the last time I played was maybe back in March, so it's been quite a while.
On your profile, it said "played for a little while."
Yeah,
so you can have a counter for it.
Yeah, it's under 5 hours. It's gonna say that. So yeah.
Although Danny, you might have the last laugh because you can actually sell yours.
No, I could, but I mean, get what, like, $20? Big deal.
Why not?
I mean, if the only reason I sell games is if I absolutely like.
Does it look good on a shelf?
It will
Okay,
on the shelf.
let's keep it then. Brilliant.
Yeah, but that's me. I was too busy this week. I didn't get a chance to play Splatoon when they had the SPLAT Fest.
What? Damn! I was hoping that you did. I was out of town. I couldn't play my Switch.
Jesus Christ, you guys fucking burn me up.
Like, I downloaded the client across various airports to like as soon as I landed in an airport, the first thing I'd take out the Switch, go to the free Wi-Fi, and start downloading like 5% of the client. And
you just forfeited your Switch ownership. You just give both of your consoles to me right now.
Yes.
It hurt me, man. I even bought a stylus so that I could draw stuff on the. Like, I bought a capacitive stylus so I could draw Weverse posts for Splatoon 2, and then I was too busy. I couldn't even pledge my Marina allegiance.
Yeah, I downloaded the app too, but I didn't. I turned it on and kind of screwed around a little bit to the training, but yeah, that was it. It kind of sucks when you're out of town, you're out at the beach or something like I was. If I were to take it out at the beach, sorry, honey, I got something to do. I don't think it's going to go so well.
Next time, just think, what would Karen do? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Break off that other joint. Oh my God, fucked up. James, okay, I'll be sending you my Switch tomorrow.
Absolutely. Be waiting for it.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a drink in their hand. Danny's got a Switch in his hand.
Yep, there it is.
Darren, sorry.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next person. And James.
Yeah, it's probably a good segue because, Danny, you just said you messed around with the training mode. So, okay, my life is pretty much hell at the moment in terms of trying to find the Switch. And let me count the ways that I've been stabbed in the face, back, side, rib cage, you name it, over the past like whatever it has been, a month. So like at the end of one of my lessons before the Splatfest, you know, this kid just like whipped out his Switch and he was like, "Oh look, you know, James, this is like I got the downloaded the Splatoon 2 you know, Splatfest app ready for it," and he was just like messing around in training, and he's like, "Do you want to play around with it?" So I'm like, "Okay, I'll." So there I am.
My wounds.
There I am, just playing. You know, I've played Splatoon 2 for, you know, 2 minutes. You know, in the training mode. You know, and I was like, "Okay, this feels good. Yep, this feels like a game I would like," and I can't. And then, you know, in the following weeks, my students, I mean, they know what I'm looking for a Switch, and a lot of them have Switches already. I mean, a lot of them have it at launch. To be fair, it's not like they just picked one up recently, because you know that is very hard to do right now.
Yeah. Listen to the last episode about what Cyrus's trials and tribulations.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's exactly. I mean, Cyrus like literally cycled half of, you know, Japan to get his Switch.
And then the following week again, looking for one for you. That was a good 50-kilometer cycle out in the Kofu.
Good Lord, man.
That's amazing. Thank you, by the way. And yeah, you look really good, by the way. If you know, you muscled up. Thanks to looking for Switches for me. So you're welcome. And thank you. But so yeah, like basically, I mean, I don't live in like a huge. Well, I guess I live in a medium-sized city. Because you know, forget about Tokyo. Because like Tokyo, the moment any Switches are available, it's immediately on all the blogs in Japan, like the Japanese blogs in Japan. It's immediately announced. 2,000 people go and queue up, and there's only 100 to 150 Switches available. So they do a lottery, and then, you know, 150 people get to buy it, right? And this is what happens every Friday, every Saturday. This is what happens, right? So, but like even where I live, it's like, you know, I go there like, you know, maybe Friday afternoon, Saturday morning. Because, you know, I often go to the supermarket where this, like, you know, they supposedly get, you know, quite a few Switches in. But this repeatedly, the staff just laugh in my face. This is like, no, there's no Switches here. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're way too late, son. You know, way too late as in, you know, 30 minutes after they'd all sold out, you know.
Right.
And then, you know, there's things online. I mean, I even had students like tweeting at me like there's these like Twitter accounts which they're not bots, but they're run by people who are searching for places where you can get Switches, and they'll tweet out, you know, okay, this shop has, you know, X number available, like, or they're going to make X number available at this time and stuff like that. So, you know, you would think even with things like that, you know, I would have a chance, but like every single time it's like I go there and it's like the page takes ages to load because, you know, there's millions of people trying to access it, right? And eventually it comes up and it's sold out, you know. It actually happened literally. I mean, was it Danny or Cyrus? I forget, somebody. Yeah, Cyrus, you mentioned that amiami.jp, which is like a, you know, like a online electronics store. It's actually Japanese Nintendo, the Twitter account, Japanese Nintendo. I won't sell it. I won't say his real name because I don't know if he wants that to be public, but the guy who runs Japanese Nintendo, he actually told me privately before he published his blog about that, and I went on there at literally 7:05. He said he was going to be going live at 7. I checked at 7:05, completely sold out.
Why didn't you check at 7?
I was like, I saw the message at like 7:04.
Oh, okay.
Ran to my, you know, my iPad and tried to load it up, and then 7:05, boom, gone. So it's just like I seem to have like the worst luck with these kind of things. It's like any kind of lottery thing, I don't win. Any kind of like, you know, sudden availability of consoles, I get there and it's all sold out. You know, either online or in a real shop. It's just like failure after failure. It's just like, oh my god, just give me a fucking Switch already. And then if you go, sorry,
I have a question for you. So I know that you know, obviously didn't pre-order it before launch. Like, and I know you said that you never did that before. Is there a reason why? Like,
well, at the time of I wasn't ready to get a Switch at the time of the Switch launch. Like I like want one, or like just work and everything, life in general. And I was still saving up for one as well.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was like, okay, I can wait, a couple of months. Things will have died down. I'll have saved up enough money. And it's basically since then, whenever it was, like end of, I don't know, May or something like that, when I've been ready to get a Switch. It was like, probably end of May. So like, yeah, basically almost, 1.5 months I've been looking for one now. It's ridiculous. But at the time of recording, at the end of this week, on the Friday, Toys R Us are opening. They're all going to get like 200 Switches in. I don't know if this is for every Toys R Us, but of course it's going to be a lottery system. So I'm going to try and get to Toys R Us early and see if I can get one. And they're actually going to be having the Splatoon special editions as well. Because that's actually the launch of Splatoon 2.
Right.
So, which is probably why they're getting more systems in than they normally would. Because we've all heard the rumors that, Splatoon 2 launch, they're going to have more Switches because, they're going to make more because they know it's going to be a huge seller. And they want people to actually get the system. I mean, I really don't care which one. If it's a Splatoon 2 bundle, I don't care. I'll get it, I'm not going to get I'll probably end up selling the Japanese game card because, I'd rather get the European download. It comes with...
It's a game card, not the... Like a... Because they're also selling the box with, like, the download code inside.
Oh, really? No. You mean that's just the individual game, though, right?
Yeah, like, yeah. I don't know if that last thing I said was, like, Club Nintendo exclusive or it's part of, like, this set, but it's literally just a case, like the Switch card case, but there's no card in there. It's like it's digital code.
Yeah. I don't believe it's that one. That's in the hardware bundle. You get the green and pink Joy-Cons, which is pretty cool. Some stickers, the game, and the console. And the console is just a regular console, I believe.
Yeah.
There's nothing different about it. There's no squids on its side. It's not like the Monster Hunter one.
Right.
And Danny, did you get your box? Or I guess your box will arrive when the game comes out.
It should be arriving maybe on Friday or this coming weekend. So
do an unboxing.
or
a reboxing.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how they're going to ship it. I bet they just ship it flat or something like that.
You should do the world's first reboxing. You should rebox your Switch and put it into you should put the Switch in, put all the Joy-Cons in, put it in the box and say, this is what it could look like.
There it is. Well, I don't think it comes with any of the inserts. It might prove difficult, but I'll try to make it work.
There you go. Coming soon to the Famicast YouTube channel, world exclusive. Splatoon 2 Japanese bundle reboxing.
There it is.
Danny Evans. First million viewed video on the Famicast YouTube channel. All Japanese people.
Gotta take a sip, boys.
So yeah, I guess wish me luck, I guess.
Yeah, no, seriously. That shit sucks. I mean,
and I really,
yeah,
I mean,
you'll need it.
Yeah, I will. I mean, like Cyrus, I do have something coming up where a Switch would be really beneficial to me because I'm going to be working. I'm going to be doing some work over the summer, but it's kind of a little bit way out. So I'll be on the train for like maybe 2.5 hours a day for about 2 weeks solidly. So I kind of need a Switch because I'm going to be able to put in so much Zelda time in that, over those 2 weeks. So I kind of really need it.
Yeah.
And it might get to a desperation point where, I just end up spending, 40,000 on the Switch because it's like, I just need it.
Those Amazon deals of getting, 50,000 looking pretty good there, huh?
Yeah, they throw in, they throw in screen protectors, like cases, and a load of other bullshit that you don't want, and then charging 50,000 yen. And the standard price is 32 and change, right? So
yeah, there was that Kotaku article about it was tracking the rising prices as the game approaches Splatoon launch, where it's like the resellers are just like going nuts right now because they know they have the market.
Yeah, man, I hope they make enough Switches that all the freaking scalpers just get effed in the A because screw those guys. And they end up having to sell it for a loss, and then they get made homeless Fun big job. Something like that. A man can dream. Anyway, I thought that'd be more interesting to talk about, my plights here in Japan looking for a Switch rather than talk about Assassin's Creed 4 again. So there you go. That's my new business with a sad emoji after it.
Well, hopefully by the time that people out there listening to the audio version, hopefully you'll actually have one. So.
Oh yeah, you'll see my Twitter just explode with images as soon as I get my Switch. Screenshots, picture of me flipping the bird to a photograph of Danny. Everything. Yeah, you're gonna see it.
Don't even need to have a Switch for that.
That's true. But there you go. Boom. Cool. Next.
All right, Ty, would you mind going next for new business?
Yeah. It's funny that James
tell us about the new Switch.
Yeah. So I got these 20 Switches here.
Price is going real nice.
Sound of gunshot.
So once again, I accidentally played a game that you can play on a Nintendo system. Yeah.
I like this pattern. It's good.
Yeah, it's another old indie game called Thomas is Alone.
Oh, yeah, heard of it.
Yeah.
Thomas was alone or is alone? Oh.
Is, I think. Let me double check.
I believe it's on Wii U, isn't it?
Was alone. Yeah.
It's a really minimalist game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And it also has a narrator. And the narrator is the voice of one of the characters in Assassin's Creed.
Huh, really?
Yeah, the British history nerd guy. Except I looked on IMDb, I guess the voice actor is actually Scottish.
Okay.
Okay.
Which Assassin's Creed 1?
Like the first ones outside of outside of the history stuff, right?
Yeah, he's in a bunch of them. He's the guy that looks up the history and like rips on everyone.
Yeah.
So his soothing voice will narrate the lives of these little block guys as you solve the puzzles level by level.
They're all like rectangles and squares and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right.
And I kind of played it while I was watching Logan, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I need to get some achievements. Let's go. So I played it for like 2 hours with like 30% of my attention span. It was a good deal. It was a good deal. But now,
so Logan won then. Logan got 70% of your attention.
Yeah.
Must have liked it.
Yeah, it was all right. So just this last weekend, the thing that took like 140% of my attention was Evo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I watched the entire thing.
God.
Yeah. So that's like in Japan hours, that's like Friday night, like 2 a.m. to like 2 p.m. And then again the next night.
So like morning. You took off like work or something, or
it was over the weekend.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was really conveniently timed this year.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Last year too, when I did the same thing. So oh man, so many monsters.
So who won the melee? Was it Fox on Final Destination?
Let me check the results.
Yeah, I tried to watch Evo this year, but again, I was so busy. I only managed to catch the Smash for Wii U Grand Finals, and I caught like the top 4 matches of Street Fighter V. And I was like washing dishes while I was doing all this stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I was manning a certain Twitter account, and and I actually also ran a contest for my hometown fighting game group, and this was fun. What I had everybody do was create a fantasy esports team.
Mm-hmm.
So they would pick 5 players, and whatever the best average placement was, that person gets a box of swag from Japan.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was exciting. It was really fun too. We had a draft and everything.
Wow, cool. I'm down with that type of stuff.
You would be, nerd.
Did somebody did somebody win with Bayonetta for Smash 4? Is that right?
Yeah, that was
That's crazy.
It was not Zero. It was what's his name?
Wow.
Salem.
Salem. Sadly, yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, I watched that. It was good. Lots of salt on Twitter.
Has Bayonetta been like adjusted? Like, has she had a final like adjustment since she was quote OP?
I don't know. I don't play that trash game.
No, she had a very minor adjustment after she came out, but it was very minor. And so she's always kind of been a Marvel character in Smash Bros. So
Okay.
Very good. 0 to death, boys.
Yeah, she's got some really bonkers combos when she gets them in the air that no other player can do. But whatever.
Right.
She was the only Samus player in the top 8, so it's not like she's totally crazy overpowered that the entire top bracket was all Bayonettas.
Yeah, she's a Disney princess now.
It's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were showing that stuff on Disney XD or something like that.
Yeah.
That's right. And ESPN.
Yeah, I saw a lot of tweets from you over the weekend. It's like, what the hell am I watching? ESPN2 video games. Ah!
Yeah,
ESPN
I know.
is dead.
Cammy in Street Fighter 5, she's got her famous outfit where she's got like a really narrow leotard, and so it's like butt crack all day long for that. But in some of the top matches, one of the Cammy players was like asked by ESPN to not use her default costume, so he had to like restart a game and switch over to her like formal wear costume instead.
Christian approved costume.
Yeah. That happened last year with another character too. So good job, Capcom, not learning your lesson.
Yeah, it made me wonder: are they going to start? Are game companies going to start designing stuff to be more TV friendly as it becomes a TV thing?
Yeah, well, good luck doing that to Bayonetta.
That reminds me of that South Park episode. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the one with like Mickey Mouse in it, and he's like killing fools.
I don't recall it.
Mono, protect my balls.
That is a good episode.
It's very relevant to what you're talking about. People listening probably know what I'm talking about.
And to go back to what you were saying, it was actually Peach won Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah. True story.
Armada from Sweden.
Yep. Same top 4 as always.
Yeah, well, that's that game. The same top 4 every fucking tournament. Armada, Mongo, Hungrybox, Mewtwo King.
Man, Scrubs hate Hungrybox, so I wanted him to win again.
I remember when I flicked this on, just I turned on. I was like, oh yeah, Smash Bros. Finals are on. I'll watch those. And I watched like one round of the grand finals, or maybe I think it was losers finals. And I just said to Chica, I was like, yeah, Smash is kind of cool to watch for like exactly one game, and then I get bored. But then the grand finals were like gripping. They were like really like I was shouting and screaming alongside to a lot of the KOs. So it was good times watching those top matches.
Yo, that's how I felt about all the grand finals, pretty much. I mean,
it's like Christmas for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
But from my perspective, it's more like Kwanzaa, because like I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but you guys seem to like it. Go nuts. Happy Kwanzaa, guys.
Yes.
So yeah, for me, I like the idea that esports is getting this big to the point where it's on ESPN and Disney. I mean, I guess Disney owns ESPN or something, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but still, it's so weird. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have thought that this is a possibility, and here we are, 2017.
My hot dog eating contest has been preempted by video games. Fuck. Yeah, so they also announced the lineup for Japan Evo. I guess that's in our news bits that we'll get to.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
So do you have any personal highlights from Evo this year?
Let me think. Oh, yeah, the character announcements. Holy shit. So you might remember last year they showed a whole bunch of new characters for games, and there's like a lot of waifu characters, and but this year they drudged up like the grimiest characters from dead terrible 90s games, and I couldn't be happier. It's like we got Geese Howard, karate deadbeat dad. He's the end boss of Fatal Fury.
Okay.
Yes, and
He's coming to Tekken, yo.
yeah. Holy shit. Skullomania, Street Fighter EX boys.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you remember Skullomania? There's a memorable character right there.
It's like well, what I love about Skullomania, because he's so Japanese. He's a salaryman who in order to impress his boss, dresses up as a, or I think they're running a thank you party for his boss or something. So the rest of the staff tell him that he has to wear like a Sentai costume, like he dresses up like a Power Ranger, and then once he puts on the costume, he decides, this is what I want to do with my life. And so he just becomes a superhero. So he's just this like terrible salaryman dressed up like a superhero who decided to become a superhero.
He's inspiring. Well, Street Fighter got Abigail. Oh boy.
Is that the massive dude that's like the whole screen almost?
Yeah. Like Street Fighter V has some questionable designs already, and Abigail, like, this is atrocious. He looks awful. If any of you listening at home haven't seen Abigail, just do a quick search, Abigail Street Fighter V, and this is how you do not design a character. This is awful.
Or that's how you design a character to make people mad.
Yeah, that is definitely an important part of his character. So maybe they succeeded.
Yeah, I can get behind that. But he does look fucking ridiculous. Either way.
Literally, his head is like off the screen at the top.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I wouldn't be so mad. He's a big, giant, muscular guy. That's fine. But it looks like his shoulders and his arms, like, it really looks like they just like had a kind of a serviceable, muscly character model, and the director was like, make them bigger. So they just dragged like they stretched the muscles a bit to make it bigger, and he's like, a little more, make it bigger. And then he's like, just keep going, and I'll tell you to stop. And and it's just like they don't fit on his frame. The muscles just look wrong.
It's like Master Mummy in arms.
Yeah, it's like Master Mummy is giant and ridiculous looking, but he's a Nintendo giant and ridiculous looking, and thus looks perfect.
Yes.
So this Abigail just looks like an actual monster as opposed to an intentional monster. Like,
more characters. They added Jeddah from Darkstalkers into Marvel. Yes,
yeah.
A non-waifu character from Darkstalkers.
Which is pretty damn cool. Jeddah is a cool guy.
Yeah, he's been a much clamored for character, I would say.
Have either of you ever played Darkstalkers?
No.
I've seen hundreds of pictures of girls with their boobs out from Darkstalkers, but never played the game.
So like Jeddah's shtick is that he's all about blood magic. So he like cuts off parts of his body to attack you. Like one of his regular attacks, like medium punch, is he just like makes a thumb blade, slices off his head, and sprays blood on you to attack you.
Sounds like a bomb.
So like he's ridiculous. He's so over the top, and obviously this is Marvel vs. Capcom. So they removed his blood magic and replaced it with like generic purple shadow stuff. But I love Jeddah. I was sad to see his crazy blood magic go, but whatever.
That was kind of like purple slop, I guess.
Yeah.
It should be in Splatoon.
There it is.
Yeah, that'd be great. Final boss, Jeddah. Fucking
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, new crossover. There it is.
Yeah, and they announced some crazy new Arc System Works crossover game.
Okay.
Cyrus, what is that even called? Because it's
like Blades Blue
mouthful.
Cross Tag Battle, I think.
Yeah, so they basically like threw in all the BlazBlue characters, all the Persona characters, and like some other assholes all into one game.
Yeah. And but this actually might be Switch relevant because Arc System Works did say they have a fighting game of some description coming to Switch. So my money would be on either BlazBlue or this new BlazBlue Cross-Track.
They're the publisher that put all those like shitty like golf games, tennis games, like Family Tennis or whatever.
Yes, I mean they do make a lot of crap like that, but Ty will tell you. I mean they do make some pretty freaking awesome stuff as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Most of the time, just not on Nintendo systems.
Yeah,
and they've had a few dodgy like BlazBlue games on the 3DS.
Right.
Yo, Guilty Gear Dust Strikers, let's go. Oh boy.
I have that game. It's not
Me
good.
too. I love the mini games. Like the regular game can get fucked, but I could play, you know, those little mini games like all day long.
So before this turns into Famicast Champion Edition.
Yeah. Play it, please. In my life.
Okay. I'll end your life. I'll talk about something that's completely different. So I read a review. It's up on the site for a game called Death Squared. And yeah, so I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about that. It's a puzzle game where you're controlling around like these two little robots, typically, and you're basically just trying to get to a goal. It's a 3D space, and you're using, if you're playing by yourself, you're using the left and right sticks to control each of these little robots individually. So this gets quite difficult, and even after playing for quite a bit, sometimes maybe you're moving one robot, and then you're like, oh crap, I need to move this other one a little bit, and then you hit the wrong stick, and then you just have to kind of restart the puzzle and hate yourself.
Left brain, right brain.
Yeah. I mean, basically, yes. And yeah, so I think total there are like 80 puzzles in this story mode, and the story is kind of funny. It's you're following the life of this guy named David, and he basically just sits around and watches AI do these puzzles all day, and you're the one controlling the robots and stuff, and he's always having conversations with his computer named Iris, which actually David and Iris are actually voiced by the same person. I wouldn't even have known that but I saw like some kind of a news thing on the Switch News channel, so that was interesting and kind of weird. But there's another mode in there as well. It's called Party Mode, where you're controlling 4 of these robots at the same time.
4 Joy-Cons?
That'd be ideal. But I mean, if you're just doing it one player, I mean, you do the same setup with the first 2, but to control the other robots, you got to press one of the shoulder buttons to basically, and then use one of the sticks to control them that way. So that shit gets really.
Wow. Did you complete any of those ones?
Oh yeah, I did. And
nice.
I'll throw it out there too. I'm typically not very good at puzzle games. That's usually not my go-to genre when I'm trying to play any games. So I was a little bit hesitant to even do the review at first, to be honest. But I mean, still, I'm not a huge puzzle game fan. But I'll give this game props because what it's setting out to do, it does very well. And I think with the nature of the Switch, because this game, it's been out on Steam and PS4, maybe even Xbone, since earlier in the year, maybe March or February or something like that. But as opposed to, like on the PlayStation or like some kind of a home console, if you want to play multiplayer, I mean, you have to have another expensive-ass controller because there's no online support with this game, unfortunately. And that's kind of a high barrier of entry for like the PS4 or, PC or something like that. But Switch, I mean, hey, it's right out of the box. It's a 2-player machine, so I did manage to play a little bit with my wife, and it's definitely a lot easier when you're playing because, you're obviously controlling one robot at a time. But at that point, because, beforehand, when it's just you're having like these internal conversations about like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. And now you kind of have to verbalize that with whoever the hell you're playing with and hope that they're thinking too to, try to get through these ridiculous puzzles. And there's a lot of stuff that gets in the way for you to, it's not just about simply getting from point A to point B. I mean, there are a lot of, obviously, it's like you just fall down and die. There are lasers that shoot. Sometimes there are lasers that will lock onto you, and you have to find a way to, make sure that's blocking. You're blocking that laser all the time so that you can, make it through the stage. Spike traps and all these like buttons and stuff like that you can press. That sometimes you're like, okay, I should probably press this to probably try to get on with this level. And the next thing you know, as soon as I press that button, it shoots a laser out at somebody and they're dead. So.
Obviously, you clash into each other. Like, if you knock into each other, you knock each other off the course or whatever.
No, I mean, you mean just like the robots themselves?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you could do that. You can do that, totally. Sometimes.
But do you ever, like, knock into each other and then knock them off, and then you're like, oh, fuck.
You can. I mean, but what's good, because, I mean, the whole point of this game is about, like, explosions and death. And even if you die, it doesn't really, you're not really punished heavily for it. You get right back into the puzzle almost instantly. So
if one person dies, do you all have to restart?
Yes, because both of the robots have to make it to the goal without dying.
So that could cause arguments.
Yeah. It's like this death counter in the upper right-hand corner of the screen when you're playing, and I mean, I'm well over 500 at this point. I mean, it gets fucking hard sometimes, man.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I wrote a little bit more about it on the site, so if you want to check that out for full review of the game, feel free to check that out.
Well, you seem to like it.
Yeah. Like I said, my biggest complaint was no kind of online stuff. I mean, it would have been convenient to be able to play with another person online if you don't have somebody locally, or even if they did some kind of leaderboards, because what they do, I don't know how they. I mean. Companies get paid a lot of money to come up with better ideas for this shit than I do, but you keep track of how many deaths you have in each stage. You keep track of how much time it takes you to clear a stage. But I mean, once you figured it out, you can just go in again and just fucking blaze through it, and it's just going to be a high score list of everybody with the same fucking score. So maybe that's not such a great idea.
I like the fact that both you and Ty have been playing games that are just about moving squares.
Yeah. I was talking earlier. It's like, okay, that sounds similar to what I've been doing. So.
While I was playing Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yes.
Completely different.
Yeah, and before Splatoon, well, right now, as we've mentioned, if you're listening to the audio version, Splatoon 2 isn't out yet. It probably will be by the time you listen to this, but
2 days, man.
What's that?
In 2 days.
Yeah. Before that, I wanted to get as much time into ARMS as I possibly could, and so I've been playing a lot of that.
Right, before you never play it ever again.
It's like I don't know how it's going to go, because I think I mentioned in one of our articles on the site about Splatoon 2, like, honestly, I'm not like super excited about it, to be perfectly honest, because I feel like, it's going to bring a lot of new stuff to the table, and it's going to be a new, fresh experience, and
right.
I've always liked playing Splatoon. I like playing it online. I like the single player. But I just hope it does enough different to it so it feels like I'm actually doing something fresh,
Yeah, man, you got to stay fresh.
Yeah.
But you know what, Danny? Even though like Splatoon 2 is like already my game of the year 2017 without actually having played it, I'm still actually interested in getting ARMS. I'm playing online with you, so I would still get it, even though I would be very busy with Zelda and Splatoon 2.
Sure.
Because actually no, because it's been, like I said, like a month and a half since I'd saved up enough money to get a Switch. Yeah. I've continued saving, so I'm like over budget now. So it's like I just like, okay, I can now get a Switch in like 3 games. So like fuck it, I'll just get whatever I'm interested in. So
yeah, and I mean, like I said, I've been playing a lot, maybe about 15 hours, then plus like I think 5 or 10 with the test punch thing or something. So I played quite a bit, not like Thai level quite a bit, but for Danny, not too bad. But recently I've been getting into ranked matches and stuff, and that's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of just reading your opponents. Like, I mean, Ty probably has opinions about this, I'm sure. But I mean, it's basically like, you actually have to use strategy and not just button mash to try to get through this shit. So I don't know, Ty, like, what are some of the biggest complaints that you see about ARMS in the fighting game community?
unlocks.
Okay.
Basically, in ranked, you have to grind to unlock like you the different arms you can get, I guess, and then you can like level those up, and that is bad.
Yeah, that does kind of suck. Like basically, yeah, like what Ty's saying, and some of you guys out there already know, but yeah, every time that you play pretty much any mode in the game, excuse me, you are earning like in-game currency that you can use to have a chance to get some new arms.
So there's no like oh man, I can't remember what it was called. Like in Smash, there was like custom characters, right? And you could earn those like alternate moves and stuff, like, but you had to earn each individual character's one separately, and it was just like it took fucking ages. I barely got hardly any of them. But when you played online, you could turn that on and off, right? You could put like, what was it, custom on or off?
Yeah, and
but ARMS, you're saying, Danny, ARMS doesn't have that. It's like it's always custom on all the time.
Because like you decide what set of arms you go into a match with. But I mean, like Ty was saying, it takes a long fucking time to try to unlock all this stuff. And I mean, I'm not even close.
So easily been avoided as well. Like if there were like 10 different arms and each one had like a rock paper scissors type thing, so you could actually see, okay, that guy is using that arm, I'll use this one to counter that.
But it's not even about, countering.
But if they're all like being leveled up,
it's not even about countering specific types. Typically, I mean, it just does different status effects if you connect, or if it's like you can do a thing where you power up your arm a little bit. So if you hit, it's going to usually knock somebody down instantly, and or do some kind of an effect. Like for example, there's like an electricity effect, and if you hit somebody with that when it's charged up, they're gonna be shocked, and then they can't use their arms, and then you could just beat the shit out of them for half a second.
I was listening to what Greg, because on our RFN, Greg has been playing arms quite a lot as well, and what he was saying, how like he was getting nowhere with a certain arm, but then he switched with this other one, and the other person was basically helpless because he'd chosen the most wisely, in that case, So you can lose round one, and then say, okay, this arm is not going to get me anywhere with this character, and then switch arms up, and then beat the shit out of them in round 2 and 3 and win. That kind of thing. So that kind of strategy would be cool. But like if every single arm has got like different levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't quite know how that works. You can get like I know because I've just from experience, you can get like a plus version of an arm that you have already drawn.
Yeah, it's if you get a duplicate version of the one you already have, it powers up that arm.
It didn't seem to make much of a difference with the arm that I got a duplicate of, though.
Yeah, it's still like any difference shouldn't be there in ranked mode. Like if they put all that stuff in casual, in local versus whatever, that's fine. But when it comes to ranked should be like For Glory in Smash, where it disables everything.
Or just have an option, like like Smash does, For Glory and whatever it is for funsies. Casual scum mode. You should have those two options, right?
Right. But no, Nintendo's bad at designing video games.
Yeah, I will give them this though. I mean, they are committed to keep rolling out updates and stuff like that. So maybe this is something that they're gonna do in the future. I hope so, because
they're probably gonna disable it in a future update and then act like they're doing us a favor.
Well, they've already added like LAN support and a few other things, right?
Spectator mode, the first new character.
Yeah, Max. He's fun.
And I think they've promised like a year of content, right? Is it?
Yes.
So I could see some shit being added to that.
Yeah. We'll I mean, like Splatoon, I was just really pleasantly surprised at this game and continue to still enjoy it. I thought I was gonna fucking hate it, and then I played the test punch. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And yeah, I'm always rocking my boy Master Mummy, and
nice.
Yeah, I like him so much. Just he can take like a fucking beating and still like stay on his feet. So that's kind of nice.
Like that Street Fighter guy. Like they don't flinch when you throw shit at them. You can still walk forward, right? I believe that's the case with that Street Fighter guy, right?
Yeah, Abigail's got a bunch of armor.
Like he doesn't flinch, like when you throw fireballs at him or whatever.
Yeah, the fighting game terminology is armor.
Armor. Wow, technical.
Super
Slow down,
armor.
slow down there, Mr. Scientist.
Well, there is super armor and hyper armor.
Yeah.
They are very distinct.
Right.
Yes, I knew that.
I'm so confused.
Cool.
So, oh yeah, and Danny, you've got the review on the site now with a
Yeah.
with a little update for the version 2.
Yes, that's right.
It's all good. I enjoyed reading it. Much thanks.
Yes. Well, thank you for checking it for me.
You're welcome.
Out of obligation, you read it. Thank you. Cool. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. That's going to do it for new business. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we're going to come back with some now playing at thefamicast.com. So, okie dokie. Famicast.com now playing. So, yeah, James, do you want to kick us off?
that means you got no fucking idea what to say. Well, Danny's already mentioned his death. What's it called? Death Squared.
Death Squared.
Arms 2 review. Arms 2? No, Arms review.
Death Squared and Arms.
We're here with that hard-hitting, brand new, off-the-shelves information. Arms confirmed only here on the Famicast.
Hey, Death Squared was a new release on the Switch. We
Absolutely. Yeah, we were brand new, spot on, day and date with that one.
Yes.
And I believe since the last episode, since 105, we've got a new family chatting about the Splatoon 2 Direct. Me, Danny, and Cyrus kind of went. We family chatted about it, just dropping our opinions on various, features that were announced and stuff like that. So that'll still be relevant for when the game comes out. So yeah, read it, have a look, enjoy. So as for like podcast stuff, well, obviously you're listening to 106 now. Hope you're enjoying that. This is the last regular episode of July, and then we've got one more. Hopefully you guys have listened to the Famicast screen time with me and Danny, and that was a lot of fun recording that. So basically me and Danny, we talked about Star Wars games and like watching movies in Japan. So it's like a bit of a life in Japan, I guess, for part 2. Basically it's like our movie show, but obviously because we're the Famicast, it's got a hint of Japanness about it, and also video games. It's not just exclusively only movies and TV. So yeah, it's a fun episode, and I think we've got lots of ideas going forward how that could expand and do some cool stuff with it. And the final Patreon show of this month of July is going to be me and Ty, because what's the first thing that you think about when you hear me and Ty? Well, probably the first thing is trolling, but after that, it's professional video game advice.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We're going to do some armchair game design.
That's right. So it's going to be hot. And we've got some cool shit lined up, and it's going to be a barrel of laughs. So please to enjoy. Hold on to your asses is all I'll say for that episode.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think after that one, I think we've got a couple more Patreon shows in the works, and I think once they're done, then we'll actually be able to do episode 2 of all the shows that we've been doing, because I think we promised 8 Patreon shows, so we're almost there.
I don't think we
promise. Well, we mentioned 8. We mentioned we had 8 in the works.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've got 8.
I just don't want to set up any false expectations here.
Danny guarantees.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. Guaranteed.
8 spin-off shows, and we're going to deliver. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I guess, Danny, should we talk about some patrons while we're talking on the topic of Patreon?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to find us and support us on Patreon, like these wonderful folks, or you can find us at patreon.com/thefamicast. We want to just give out another big thanks to our current patrons. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of read through here. I could say it may be in order from. Okay, no, I'm just going to.
So Carmine Red is a tier 1.
Yes.
We don't have any tier 2s. Tier 2 is like it's like no one cares about tier 2. So
right.
Drop it actually.
Maybe, maybe.
Because tier 3 is where it's at, isn't it? That's where you get the podcasts and everything. So.
Yes, and for tier 2, all of our backers here, we have
No, tier
Fidel.
3. Like I said, Danny, like I literally said 5 seconds ago, we
Excuse
don't
me.
have tier 2s.
Excuse me. Tier 3.
Tier 3s.
Big thanks to Fidel, Aaron, Nick, Mark, Ryan, Lucas, and Peter. Thank you guys for supporting us there. And,
Yes, I'd also personally like to give a special thanks to Fidel and Aaron, who actually gave more money than they needed to. You only need to give us $3 for the bonus shows, but they actually gave us more money than they needed to. And yeah, we really appreciate it. That's awesome, man. Really, thank you very much.
Yeah, I can eat dinner tonight.
There you go.
Yes.
I can have more than like, you know, $1 ramen now.
Yes.
$2 ramen.
Yep, there it is. And
Fancy.
actually, you heard him on, what was that, the last episode or the one before that?
I think it was a couple back now. Yeah.
A couple back now. Chris, who, like I said, he was on the show. He's a backer and appreciate him. And it was a lot of fun having him on the show too. So
yeah, his specialist topic was Super Nintendo World, which is that's the topic he chose to talk about, and we had a good chat about it.
Right. And then the top tier, actually is this the Famicrew?
That's
level?
right. That's right.
We want to give a big shout out to Rich and Joel. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. And yeah,
And
we're going to have to.
Cyrus is busy, right?
Yep. So I've been talking to them through emails, organizing what art they want. So I'm gonna be sticking down to Joel's as soon as I can get a few free moments.
Yeah. And then here sometime in the very near future, we're going to have those two on the show as well.
Absolutely.
So look forward to that. And just think, hey, man, if you're out there listening to the Famicast and you're like, man, these guys are cool. I want to talk to them on the show and be on there. Okay, maybe you're not thinking that, but just in case you are, just know that
I think that
option.
sometimes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Sorry,
I'm not paying you though.
Okay, so you might want to consider supporting us on that. Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it. So again, for supporting us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/thefamicast. Also check out thefamicast.com for the latest and greatest reviews and news and everything like that.
And it's all free. You don't need to pay for that. It's amazing.
Yes.
And this podcast is free. Enjoy.
Our service to you, the people.
We love you guys.
We do. Okay. All right. Well, next up, we have a little bit of news here to run through, so let's go to that. So,
Wow, it's a lot of news. Come on, we
Yeah.
need to steamroll this. Come on, boom. Let's
yes,
go.
so
Next.
I haven't even started yet. Next, boom, next. Okay, so the first Splat Fest is finished. The results are in for the different regions. Of course, for North America and Europe, it was ice cream versus cake. In Japan, it was
Processed fat versus processed fat. Brilliant.
yes, yes. You can say the similar thing about the next topic for Japan too, which was rock versus pop.
Well, no. If it's rock versus J-pop, there's only one option there, isn't there?
Well, sure.
J-rock, I'm not so sure about. But anyway, rock won, which I was very happy about. In your face, J-pop.
You know, actually, I chose rock, but rock was the side that was teamed up with Pearl. But I don't care what country I'm in. I'm not a big fan of pop music, unless it's NSYNC or something.
Wait, Marina wasn't rock?
Anybody catch that? No. Marina was the pop, and
No way. Shit,
Pearl
that
was
would have been a tough choice, wouldn't it, Cyrus?
Yeah, having to pick between terrible squid or pop. That's genuinely hard.
yeah. I mean, just look at. I hate Pearl's design. It's just so ugly and just.
Everyone hates her stupid face. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only people who like her are the ones who are like, leave Pearl alone. She's got feelings too.
She does. Okay, sure.
They're only saying that in the hope that she'll date them.
Yeah.
Well, there's a chance.
Ice cream was Marina, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
and she won by 75 to 25 or something like.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Pearl gonna need some ice cream to fucking put out those burns after that thing. 'Cause she got annihilated. She got toasted.
Yeah.
Have you guys had the catchphrase for the English one is really bad. It's like stay off. What is it? Stay off the hook.
I don't know.
Like something like that. It's not like stay fresh anymore.
Yeah, it's their whatever they have their. I can't remember what it is, but You mentioned something about this on Twitter.
Off the Hook, yeah. But like it's weird because like the group itself is called like Off the Hook, but in Japan they're called like
Tentacles.
Tentakuruzu. Yeah, like tentacles basically. And the voice sample that they used in Splatoon 1. I mean obviously it was like, not Vocaloid, but it was like a, heavily, the audio was heavily adjusted.
Right.
To not sound like any language. Yeah, it was made into nonsense language, but it did sound like Stay Fresh. It went like fresh. Which is weird because in Japanese it's Ika Yoroshiku. So even though the text was saying Iki Yoroshiku and they're going Stay Fresh, so it didn't make any sense, right? When I reveal that to Japanese people, like, oh my god, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, it does sound like Stay Fresh. But with this one, they flipped it. So now they say the Japanese, even in the English version. So like, the English version says like whatever, stay off the hook, but you can hear the voice saying like tentacle, like they're saying like something tentacle, Yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
Yes.
And on that exact same topic, I probably should have mentioned this in my new business during the James's students make his life hell, but like this guy was saying how he was he joined the Splatfest as Rock, and I said, oh well, congratulations, your team won, right? And I was like, you probably don't know this, but like in the West it was actually ice cream versus cake. And he's like, oh yeah, I know, I played in the English one too. And I was like,
oh yeah,
holy shit, you mean you've got like he's like, yeah, and I made an American account so I could play in both Splatfest. I was like, wow, my man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So like I was really impressed that like a Japanese student wanted to like do that. But he's not going to be able to do that with the final game because you'd have to buy the game twice.
Some people, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Japanese fans,
I might end up doing that, so let's not put it on Japanese people.
Well, staying on the theme of Splatoon here, actually there's a lot of weird collaborations going on. Starting on July 11th, Japanese drink maker Kirin has teamed up with Nintendo to offer like some kind of special grapefruit soda with a Splatoon design on the bottle.
Oh man!
Yeah, I think there are 5 or 6 different designs. So get them while they're, I would say hot, but they're probably cool. So
I do in work. I have a refillable bottle of Dr. Pepper that I've been using for like 6 months. So I guess I could swap out for a Splatoon bottle.
Nice.
The weird thing is that Cyrus is using a can of Dr. Pepper.
It makes me look cooler.
Yes, good point.
But the cling film that you put over the top does not.
Yes. Moving on again. Oh,
that sounds gross, though, doesn't it? Like the Mets grapefruit soda.
Dude, okay. First of all, I think Mets Cola, any of their drink, it just sucks.
They're really bad.
I hate it. And
like,
I'm not a big fan of like grapefruit flavored anything, so I'm just one of.
See, I thought when I read this, I thought it said grape, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But grapefruit, I don't know if I can do that.
I hate both of those, grape or grapefruit. But Cyrus, I don't know about in Ireland, but like, was it like Panda Cola? Do you remember that? Like the 40p cola that you get.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that sounds great.
Basically, Danny, I don't know what the American equivalent was. Like, it's like, you've got Coke and then you've got Pepsi, and then, way down the line, you've got something.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'll give you an example with Dr. Pepper. So, you got Dr. Pepper, then there's Mr. Pibb, and then you go to Walmart, and there's Dr. Thunder.
There you go. So this is, the Mets is like Dr. Thunder then, I guess.
But the difference here, this isn't like cheap bullshit that only Walmart sells. This is like, a pretty
it's expensive shit. Yeah, good point.
It's just, just like taste-wise, I don't know. I consider myself to be like a cola connoisseur. So anytime I drink something that's not Coke or Pepsi, I just hate it.
Do you remember?
Good time. Yeah. Google search bootleg Dr. Pepper.
Uh-huh.
Look at the first image there. It's amazing. We got Dr. Fine. We got Dr. Skipper. Dr. Bob. It gets worse.
Mr. Pig is pretty good.
Mr. Pibb?
Mr. Pig.
Mr. Pig?
Yeah.
Wow. It's like a knockoff of a knockoff. Oh, I like this one. Dr. Good Guy.
Oh boy.
What's the worst that
Anyway,
could happen?
that is but one of the Splatoon collaborations that Japan is so fond of.
What's the next one, Si?
So if you can make your way to the Kyoto Aquarium, you can get special snacks and other goods like bags and towels, and take part in some other bullshit. So they'll have a bunch of like photo opportunities or whatever.
Yeah,
just things to get kids into the aquarium.
Yeah, they literally had like Splatoon squirt guns, and they were shooting something in some of the images and crap. And this started on July 15th.
Yeah, that looks fun. The shooting a squid with a water gun.
Yeah,
and there are a few. You can actually buy a Splat Julies as well, water pistols. They've made some like. I remember the first one that came out. It wasn't actually a water pistol. It was actually like a solid plastic replica of the. What was the default weapon? The one that Danny always used. What was it called, Danny? Do you remember? Splattershot Junior. But it wasn't a water pistol. What's the fucking point?
Like I remember it when Splatoon 1 came out, they had like a bunch of these collaboration stores popped up around Tokyo, like in the Skytree or whatever. And their main feature item that they were selling was like, edible dried squid, but like stamped with the Splatoon logo.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Like if there's one thing I don't want to buy, like it's like, oh, Splatoon, it's that game where you get to play as those cool, cute squids, and now I can eat them.
That's not the reason why you shouldn't be eating squid. You shouldn't be eating squid because it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I don't eat any squid in Japan. I hate the stuff.
I think it's okay. I don't like the dried squid. I mean, the first time I tried that like 10 years ago, some of my Japanese friends were like, "Oh, Danny, you should totally try this." Like, what the hell is this? Dried squid? Oh, how bad can this be? And I was like, okay, probably never again.
And you washed it down with a kind of Dr. Pibb.
Dr. Thunder, thank you.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yes.
I love squid.
It's a
my literal favorite Japanese food is the fried squid rings.
Oh, those are good. Those are
good.
Calamari. Callie and Marie.
They're like onion rings, except with squid instead of onion.
Yes.
Right. Stay fresh.
Yes. Well, moving on. There's Hako Boy, Box Boy. It's a 2.5-year anniversary sale.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. It's not even a 2.5D game.
Yes.
It's literally a 2D game.
I guess they didn't want to wait for the 25th anniversary to have this sale. So everything's like 25% off. So it's roughly over like $5 for each individual game. So that's fine. And you can also get like a new theme that you can buy with real money from the Nintendo 3DS theme shop, or with Nintendo Club Nintendo. Club Nintendo. No, is it? God, no.
My
Nintendo called coins. Yeah.
Just a little public service announcement. Please never buy 3DS themes with real money.
I did that already. So.
I bought my first 3DS theme this week, actually.
Good man.
I used, because some of my silver coins, or maybe they were gold coins, are expiring this month on my Nintendo.
That's less bad if it's...
Yeah, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to... So I bought, because Chica has absorbed my 3DS and she started playing Animal Crossing. I'm never going to see that thing again. So I just got an Animal Crossing theme for it.
There you go.
Rip in peace.
Yes. Speaking of ripping, well, okay, maybe. Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS got an update, basically to support the new amiibo that are coming out, or they're already out here, I think.
This week. So the same as launch date as Splatoon.
Okay.
So this Friday. This Friday is how many? There's Corrin, like female Corrin, and then there's Bayonetta, Cloud.
Yep.
And was there anyone else? Male Corrin too? Yeah, male and female Corrin.
Yeah.
And then the 3 Splatoon amiibo too. So there's 9 new amiibo this week.
Yeah, nuts. I mean,
I hope my son doesn't come back with a Bayonetta amiibo.
Well, give it to me if you want, because I want them all, and it's expensive.
Yeah, they started selling the Cloud and the Corrin and Bayonetta here like last week or something. I think
really?
It was.
Yeah, I didn't see them anywhere.
They were sold out on the My Nintendo store. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in a bunch of the Boonies shops again. I was coming back from another thing. I'm like, I'm gonna stop in a few game shops just in case they got Switches, and there was found a gold mine of rare Zelda amiibo, but none of the new ones.
You just reminded me of another story that I should have mentioned in my new business. The My Nintendo store, the way you can actually buy a Switch and customize the colors and everything.
Right.
So apparently it was earlier today, it went live again. Yep. And I now know it's the time. It's 12:50 in the afternoon is when if they do update it, that's the time they do it. You don't know the day. You're never going to know the day, but that's the time apparently. I was looking at a Japanese blog, and I was looking at the history of all the ones that they'd said when it went live. Anyway, I literally checked the My Nintendo website 3 times today at various times. I checked it like morning, lunchtime, maybe about 12 o'clock, and later in the evening. But yeah, 12:50, and they're all sold out by 12:55. So
God.
That's another thing of my bad luck, you know.
Yeah, that's fucking absurd.
I've actually made it my homepage. So like when I open up the browser, it just goes boom straight to that page. Immediately greeted with the sold out sign every single time. Anyway, next.
Yeah, so the Nintendo mobile app for Switch is available now.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. There's literally nothing you can do aside from signing in and going through the menu search, whatever. But yeah. So.
Yeah, I've been looking at a few people on like NeoGAF apparently have it working with Splatoon 2 now. I don't know how, but
review copies.
Reviews, yeah.
And maybe review copies, yeah. So and it's funny, like I follow the Reddit page for Switch news, and there's just like the growing horror as people suddenly realize like using the voice chat option on this, you can't listen to game audio and voice chat audio at the same time because you need 2 sets of headphones or an audio splitter. And if your phone enters sleep mode at any time, it cuts off the audio. Or
I thought it was if like for iOS particularly, if you get like a phone call coming through, it's gonna stop that. But as soon as your phone call is done, then it'll go back to your lobby if it's still active.
The Nintendo just released a statement that said that, I think. But Cyrus, you know, the headphones that you're wearing, apologies to the audio listeners, but like I actually heard a tip on another podcast where people were using a combination of the earphones that I'm using and the earphones that Cyrus are using. So like putting these ones in first with the phone, and then putting those, the little in-ear ones, and then putting the big over-ear ones on top of those. And that's kind of like a cheat, so you don't have to buy those stupid official ones with those.
That is ghetto as hell, and I love it because it's such a terrible solution.
No, but this technique has been in use for a while, apparently.
Yeah, it's clever. I can see how it works. It's a good idea.
Man, what was it like? People playing like MMOs, and they're like Skyping with their family or friends or whatever, but you know, and then they've got their PC big earphones on as well, that kind of thing. But in the PC, it's a lot less troublesome because you've got Skype and the game on the same PC, right?
right.
Yeah. I'll have to. That's probably how I will end up doing it if I ever use voice chat.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just play on TV, or I'll either just not voice chat or only voice chat if I'm playing on TV or on the TV or something.
We'll have to set up a Discord. We'll have to set up a Famicast Discord, probably.
Yeah.
Only such a thing already existed.
If only. No one uses
Next. Sorry.
Miiverse is no longer in operation.
Yeah, so I'll take this one. So,
oh my goodness.
So I just saw this earlier today that a patch went out for the Wii U, stability patch. So if you have a Wii U, you can update it. And people data mined this apparently very small patch, and they found a new line of text had been added to the pool of whatever text strings within the system that said something like the Miiverse is no longer in operation or whatever. So it's the kind of message that if you click on an icon that the servers have been disabled, this is the message that will pop up.
Oh, okay.
So Nintendo haven't canceled Miiverse yet. It could still go on for years to come, but they have now put the system in place to turn it off at any time.
It'll die like literally between the time this goes live. That actually worries me about like Mario Maker stuff. You know, like because I don't know if the Mario Maker app like the web app that they made. I don't know if that's Miiverse based because it integrates with Miiverse, but I don't know if it is part of Miiverse. I don't actually know, but it obviously heavily uses Miiverse. So I don't know.
It does.
That would suck if like I lost all my Mario Maker bookmarks or something like that.
Maybe.
Well, actually, speaking of losing stuff, with that Smash Bros. Patch that came out, so you're able to use the amiibo, that didn't actually do anything else except enable those amiibo. But because it updated the game version, all replays from before are now disabled. You can't view or do anything with any old replays because they added new amiibo.
Yeah, we talked about
you
this.
can view them, but you can't like share them or edit them or whatever.
I think you just can't view them anymore because maybe Ty talked about this on one of the last episodes, or maybe it was on the fighting podcast, where like whenever you have, because it's not actually saving like a video file, it's just saving like lines of code and stuff. And it's basically
it's saving the inputs.
Yeah, that's it.
So it replays the fight as if two computers are doing exactly the same inputs as the players.
Oh, right. Because you can pause it and move the camera around and everything.
Yeah. So that means that if they changed any of the attack variables, so like if Pac-Man now punches you back 1 centimeter further than before, it will change. All of the combos will now be different because the computer will still attack at the exact same time and direction and everything, but the computer characters will move differently. So,
yeah, I mean, every fighting game that's ever been able to save replays whenever there's an update, like it would just generally erase all the replays.
Yeah, it totally makes sense why they do it, but it sucks that it's happening even though the gameplay is not being affected in any way by this update.
Well, it sucks because this is like, how many times this has happened. I mean,
if they had a good way to just share it, or just get it so you can save it or something, then that'd be great. But
export to YouTube.
Well, yeah, I mean, for Smash Brothers, though, I don't think that was possible.
It would be a good feature. Didn't Cyrus? Do you remember? Did Street Fighter 3 have that feature?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
3?
That was cool.
Street Fighter 3 on the Xbox on Xbox Live, like 360. They got
a re-release.
I thought you were talking about it on the Dreamcast. I was like, what?
Yeah, this new up-and-comer YouTube. We're getting in a...
Capcom invented YouTube.
Oh, boy.
Back then it was restricted to like 2 minutes.
Yes.
Street Fighter 3, that 2 minutes is way longer than you need for a Street Fighter 3 match.
Right.
340 by 340 resolution.
Well, this last bit of news, Ty or Cyrus or both of you guys, I mean, you guys are all over this stuff.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier, but EVO Japan gets some new details. Like we've known it was going to be in January, but they've announced the games, and those include Smash Bros. Wii U and ARMS, and not Melee.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
So no Melee. That's a hard pill to swallow for those top 4 that win every tournament.
Is there not many Melee pros in Japan?
Yeah, not many.
Oh, okay.
That's like the one guy I know of.
They like the new stuff, maybe.
Yeah, but so yeah, Danny, this your time to shine. You've got your 10+ hours of ARMS. You want to?
Well, I'm rank 7 right now, and I'm sitting pretty. Just one loss away from going back down to rank 6, but hey, I'll get there.
Rank 7. You're rank 7th in the world.
No. I mean, no.
No. That's what I'm saying. You should say.
There it is. Rank 7 in the world.
There you go.
Yeah. So I will totally be going to this. Like,
me too.
I'll join. I'll enter Street Fighter 5. I'll enter Smash Bros. Or something. Probably ARMS. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to gather some information on side tournaments. Like a thing about EVO is there's not just the main games, but there's side tournaments everywhere that aren't part of the main tournament. Yeah, and I was just skimming results for those because those got reported. They're really like even medals and stuff made up.
Yeah, they're kind of run independently, so the prizes are arranged independently, and so people can give trophies and medals all they want for them.
Yeah, I mean, they still come with a decent amount of respect and probably money. Oh, yeah, like Sega gave away like like a 5-figure prize for Virtual Fighter that one year. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Five figure in Japanese. It's like
As in, they gave 5 Virtua Fighter figures that you could put on your desk.
It was huge. It was like, I want to say $30,000 or something. It was fucking crazy.
Do we know where this is going to be held at?
It's Tokyo where?
I believe it's in Akihabara.
Really?
Right? That big, isn't it that big ass fuck building that's like right by the station?
The AKB48 theater?
No. Okay, well, they already ran like a pre-Evo event like a couple months ago.
tournament.
Yeah, I think it's the same venue that was.
Maybe I'm not entirely sure.
I think you're talking about a big camera. That's the huge one next to it.
That'd be a great place to do that.
I don't think so. It's like the one in front of the Gundam Cafe.
Oh, that like just like regular business skyscraper type buildings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Maybe it's got like an event hall inside.
I may be talking out of my ass. I have no idea.
But okay, if I would like to go to something like this, that seemed like it'd be kind of cool.
Well, yeah, you should go then.
Yeah. Hopefully,
you can holler at me. I'll be there.
Oh yeah. That'd be cool.
Dude, I got people tweeting at me like, "Go Ty, we're gonna need some support coming over to Japan for our first tournament in Japan."
Ooh.
I'm like, okay.
I'll root and cheer you on.
Yeah, I'll probably enter like Tekken and some side tournaments. We'll see what pops.
Wow. Yeah. Keep this personal thing. Keep me. Hey, I'd like to enter some tournaments too. So I've never done any of this stuff aside from local tournaments in my hometown, which was a hell of a lot easier to enter than something like this.
Well, I see where this is now. It's in the UDX building. So if when you're leaving the Akihabara station, there's like a big plaza with the AKB48 cafe and the Gundam cafe.
Yes.
There's there's one of those big glass buildings there. It's not a skyscraper. It's like 20 floors or something.
Okay. Cool. Well, listeners out there that have never been to Japan, next time you come to Akihabara, just take Cyrus's advice. You can find
it's across the road from the AKB48 cafe.
When is the Evo Japan?
January 25th to 20. Something like that.
Next year?
Yeah, next year, 26th.
Why are we talking about it now?
Because they just announced the lineup. You got to get training. You only got fucking 6 months to get your arms up to rank 6 or whatever Danny's at.
Yeah.
This should have been in the friggin' Christmas episode. What's wrong with you people?
Boo. To James.
Okay, we might have to talk about it again in episode whatever it is.
Probably every episode leading up to the event. Cool.
Okay, next.
Yes, that's going to do it for all of the news. So we're going to go ahead and move on to feedback.
Woo.
So if you want to have your email or complaint or comment read out on the air, you can email us at thefamicast@gmail.com. If you want to hit us up on Facebook, you can do that as well. Facebook.com/Famicast. Twitter @thefamicast. We're all over the place.
Complain about you in that same way?
If you want to, that's totally fine.
Okay, good.
I'll read it. We'll read it out on the show.
Good. I might write it just right now.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
So the first one is not from me. It's from Jefferson Cuba. Or Cuba, I apologize. He's from Brazil. He says, "Hi, Family Crew. Sorry for my English. Right now, I am in Sao Paulo International Airport, and he's going to live in Japan. He's going to work in a factory for 12 hours a day. Wow. But that's better than 1 year unemployed. I don't know any Japanese. Do you guys have any tips to learn Japanese?" So remember that question. Despite my employer saying I don't need it, I really want to learn. Next, what about social life and general living? What kind of things do I have to avoid? I'd love to meet you guys someday maybe, but at least in the first 3 months, I'm going to be broke because I'm going to have to pay for my ticket plus all the work agency costs. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Jefferson Cuba. He's Twitter maybe. Jeff64. He says, P.S. If someone knows Portuguese, he has a mini Nintendo podcast called Estação 64, which basically means Station 64. So I guess this is like a life in Japan question, but because Jeff is like on his way to Japan like right now, or probably maybe already arrived in Japan, I thought we should like answer it ASAP.
Sure.
So yeah, working in a factory, wow, that's hard work and amazing. He doesn't need to know any Japanese.
Yeah, it's actually pretty, like, out in my town, I'm, like I always say, I'm out in the boonies. There's a lot of factories around here. And there's a lot of foreigners who just, like, join the factories. Like, there's 3 Venezuelan guys just joined up recently. They don't speak any English. They don't speak any Japanese.
Wow.
And they're just working in the factory. So now they're taking some Japanese lessons in the next town over.
Yeah, that must be quite hard. I mean, not having, I don't know if Jeff is going with a friend or like family member. Like, is it going to be anyone that he's going to be able to talk to at all? Like, would anyone in the factory speak? Well, obviously Jeff can speak English because he's written the email in English. But like, hopefully someone at the factory can speak English.
Right. It would depend. I mean, like Sai said, I mean, there are some factories kind of where I'm at too, and sometimes, you know, there'll be a lot of people from like the same country, or, you know, you'll kind of group together with people that maybe would speak Portuguese as well, maybe other Brazilian expats or something like that. That'd be a good way to.
He just said he wants to learn Japanese though.
Yeah, and you know, Sai, you just mentioned that you know the people that live or work whatever kind of by you. I mean, they go to a lot of city halls offer some kind of free Japanese learning.
That's exactly what these guys are doing.
Yeah, and I mean it's I've never been to one of them. But I mean, if you really need just some introductory Japanese stuff, this would be a really good thing to go to.
I've been to some, but they're unfortunately they're like a very specific time and day, and if you're working at those times, then you know you're screwed.
If you're working a 12-hour day.
Yeah,
God help you.
Fucking hard. Good point.
And unfortunately, they're not usually on the weekend, which is a real killer. Like, I know in my local area, it's like Wednesday afternoon, and it's like,
oh, really?
well,
like,
I work.
What they have here, kind of in my town, it's like some weekday evening, I think.
Okay, evening's good.
Like the ones of mine is like Friday. It's like I think Thursday, Friday, and it's at like 9 o'clock at night. It's for, they know people will travel for this thing, so that would be a good place to look if you want free ones. Is contact your local city office or the nearest big town city office.
Yeah,
and if you have access to a smartphone or even a tablet, the Duolingo app has recently updated with Japanese. You can actually learn Japanese with Duolingo now, which used to be just basically European languages, but I think they have Chinese and Japanese. So yeah, if you want to learn, like, it's really good. Like, if you want to learn the basics, it'll teach you like hiragana, it'll teach you some basic kanji, phrases, everything. It's completely free, like 100% free, and it's really good. Duolingo, Duolingo.
Yeah, you know, if you do have a little bit of money to throw around, I remember what I did about 8 years ago. There was a university in the town where I worked, and they had English lessons maybe a couple nights a week, and you paid something like, I think, $30,000 to $50,000 for a semester. I mean, it wasn't so bad, and it was pretty. There's like different levels and stuff, so I would kind of learn that way. And
Jeff's broke. You just literally said he's broke.
I know. That's why I said if you have money. That's the thing.
Is this yen or dollars?
Yen.
Okay.
Maybe this time next year when Jeff saved up a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about social life and general living? Anything he has to avoid?
Well,
I don't know what he's worried about there. Like, avoid as in what, like setting fire to your apartment building? I guess.
Bears.
Yeah. Bears. Yes.
Bears are a big one.
Yes.
Jeff doesn't actually say which part of Japan he's going to. So we don't know if he's like, like Cyrus, surrounded by nature
and bears.
And bears and immediate death, or...
Side note, the town warning system that tells me about bears nearby, it's not working at the moment, so...
It was attacked by bears?
Yeah, they're learning.
But yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, a social life, just go to your local bar and hang out.
Well, then,
see what happens.
Said, no money, that sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the worst beer in Japan or the brew from 7-Eleven. Good luck.
I mean, basically, you're just going to be hanging out with your coworkers, aren't you? The first.
Just find the nearest 7-Eleven, squat down outside, and
Right.
Smoke your cigarettes, drink your beer outside. You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
General living. I mean, I don't know what the living conditions were back in Brazil, but like expected to be smaller than that. Especially if you're going to be living in a cheap apartment, yeah, it's going to be small. So
yeah. I was watching one of my friends. He's been like long time lived out in this town, and he moved to the big city, and he was posting on Facebook how he had this beautiful new apartment all picked out, and it was like he'd done the tour and it was all like basically settled, and then the homeowner basically said no foreigners, and he just had to like turn around and find somewhere else, and now he's stuck with this dingy tiny little apartment like way out in Nippori outside Tokyo kind of thing.
we don't want to scare Jeff too much, but I mean I'm assuming like the employer will get him set up with like maybe dorms or like a place near the factory or somewhere nearby. I doubt they'll just like send them over and just expect them to find an apartment on their own, right?
Yeah, especially if they know that he doesn't know any Japanese.
Yeah,
I've heard some pretty gnarly stories about companies hiring from overseas and then renting them like a company apartment at like some exorbitant rate.
Right, charging them more than what it's worth. Yeah, I mean, I think I came with Nova, and I think they did that because like they were charging me like 70,000 a month, but there were 3 guys all paying the same amount, and I know for a fact it wouldn't cost like 210,000 a month to rent this tiny little shitty apartment that we were all living in.
But again, on the same side, some of these places might give you a really good deal. Like I'm getting an amazing deal in my school gave me this apartment kind of thing, and I pay a really good amount of rent. A lot of factories will have those workers' dorms very close by.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're generally very affordable and serviceable.
There's I mean, the Japanese companies realized that it's actually cheaper to build a dormitory than to pay the workers to travel from far. So you'll actually find like you'll just see just like a random like dormitory from a company that's nowhere nearby, but they'll just build it there in a cheap area, and they'll house all their employees there, and then they don't have to travel that far. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. What other questions have we got here? He wants to meet up with us. Well, yeah, as always, Danny's house is open bar. So don't worry about it. Anytime. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Keep in touch. Yeah, if you have any problems, keep in touch, and we'll help you out whenever we can. Yeah, of course.
Or at least, at the very least, just email us again. Let us know how things are going, like updates on the situations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, let's hang out.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
So next, we've got some comments from the Life in Japan episode, which was me, J-Dubs, and a buddy of mine called Reggie.
Yeah.
So this is from Chris Blackstone. He says he liked the music choices and that I'd put in the episode, and the discussion on work was enlightening. I had a wholly different understanding of how that operates and the credentials needed to get in. Yeah, we talked about like how to get a job in Japan and stuff. So to expand on the work topic, do you know much about the tourism trade? He has an American friend who runs a travel business, but operated primarily in Southeast Asia. Seems common. I don't know if that extends into Japanese culture, though. Yeah, travel business is huge in Japan. It is like you go to any department store, there'll be about 26 travel agencies at any one place, right? And lots of people discussing how many days they're going to spend in France. 3 or 4 is usually the option.
Yeah, even like small, tiny little like supermarket and like 5 other shops. One of those shops is going to be a tourist office. Like, not exaggerating how many of these things there are.
Cyrus, what did you use? I mean, you've recently been abroad, right? Like, did you use one of those?
I use kayak.com. That's
a good. I like that one.
Yeah, I never use a tour company. I just buy my tickets.
There you go. Bloody foreigners. They know all these secrets and cheap tickets and all these things.
Yeah. I'm going back to the States to visit my family, like maybe in October or so, and I'm curious about like car rentals. If it would be cheaper to go through a Japanese, agent.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Nope.
probably not. But I still want to check.
No, any question that starts with, I wonder if you're cheaper if the Japanese. No, stop there. Stop there. No. The answer is no.
Myself and look anyways. So.
Oh man, it cracks me up. Like, I was talking to my family the other weekend, and people were discussing about how many weeks they want us to spend in Spain for their summer vacation, and it's just such a it's like reverse culture shock. Being shocked by my own culture. It's like, yeah, I remember when I used to discuss holidays in weeks, not days. It's kind of crazy.
That last trip I took to Italy, where I was playing the Switch the whole time, it took 2 days to get from Japan to the wedding venue, my sister's wedding. So it was 2 days to get there. Then I spent 1 day at the wedding. Then I left at 4 a.m. that night and came back to Japan. Another 2 days of travel. So yeah, I know them feels of short vacations.
$2,000 well spent.
Pretty much.
And the last bit that Chris mentioned, because the other topic was dating in Japan, he says, glad to hear Japanese women aren't just throwing themselves at every Westerner that walks down the street. That sounds frightening. But now I think my wife is more comfortable with visiting. Lol. Right. Yeah, there you go. What can you say? Right. If you're expecting that, then I'm sorry. And Rich Catalano, another Patreon backer, he just said, bring back Reggie. We'll have to bring back Reggie. I mean, Reggie's quite into movies. We might have to get him on the movie podcast, Danny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure Reggie will make an appearance one day on some podcast. Next, we'll move on to Twitter. And it's Chris again. Chris, he loves us. What can you say? Danny, maybe you should read this one. This is about the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. Oh, because for like we said, for Screen Time, we did a segment on it talking about Rogue Leader, and Chris, he said I dove deeper into the development of Rogue Leader and found a Game of Sutra article on how the cutscenes are built, and he said I wasn't aware of the dev history behind the game, and your discussion sparked my interest. Perhaps other listeners might enjoy the link. And oh man, reading this thing that he linked up, it is super detailed and fantastic. And I mean, everything about like the development of that game and just like the beginning of the GameCube life was just such a fascinating time. I was just learning a lot of stuff about how games are made and a lot of like technical jargon that I probably long forgot by now. But it was just so fun just to like read about
mapping.
What's that?
Trilinear mip-mapping.
Yeah, it just yes.
We used to lap that stuff up back in the GameCube days.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Ty, you're like the Facebook king, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to read the Facebook comments?
If I must. Okay. Russ Greeno, our good friend, says, pretty good Nintendo banter, a healthy amount of Xbox bashing. Sony don't get much of looking, though. 5 stars.
Still gave us 5 stars. Good.
It is true. We never really mentioned Sony here at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have okay. Last year, in my defense, I did. I talked about.
Remember that one time last year I mentioned Sony that time?
Recently, like I haven't played any like Sony stuff for for that. But No Man's Sky, when that came out, I kind of talked about it, and then we had TGS, so it kind of just got by the wayside. But
you played Battlefront, right?
Yeah. I played a lot of stuff on PlayStation, not so much recently, but this holiday season, there's a lot of multi-platform, aka non-Switch games that I kind of want to pick up. So there'll probably be a little bit more talk about that.
I've been using Joy Sound on my PS3, so my PS3 is just a karaoke machine at this point.
Nice.
It's actually really good. I plan on at my wedding next year, we're going to set up the PS3 as a karaoke booth.
Sweet.
So it's good, damn good thing.
Yeah.
It's also on Wii U, isn't it?
Yeah, Japanese Wii U, the European one as well, or is that?
Yeah,
the European one is shut down.
Okay.
I wanted to try it out, and it literally had shut down the day before that I tried to use it for the first time, so I busted out the PS3.
That would have been the default best one because it would have less J-pop on it or zero J-pop.
Right, James. We tried that at your place shortly after I got the Wii.
We did. I think that was New Year's or Christmas.
Yeah. Geez, that was like 5 years ago. Wow.
You were a single guy by then.
I was.
Lots of tears that Christmas.
Yes. Never forget.
Cool. Ty, was that it?
Yeah. All right. Well, there's one more. ALT Insider.
J-Dubs. That's J-Dubs, isn't it?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Asking about the Nintendo Classic. Well, the mini Super Nintendo, I guess. How does it look on a shelf?
Well,
Danny, are you a shelf enthusiast? What do you say?
I'd say right now we don't have the technology to know exactly how it's going to look on a shelf, but from how my NES version, the family computer version, looks on a shelf, it looks pretty goddamn good over there. I'll tell you that.
I've heard that depending on the country that you display it on your shelf, it can look better or worse.
Well, we'll have to kind of delve a little bit deeper into that research there, Saya. Maybe do a couple of documents or whatever.
Are you referring to the one that's in America?
Otherwise known as the purple turd. Then
That's right.
Yes, that one. So if you have a collection of turds on your shelf, this will look perfectly at home. But if you prefer nice things on your shelf, I would avoid this one.
I wonder how many Americans are going to go for the European one, like just because they want the Japanese look, but the English games.
I mean, I think Ty mentioned this in the last episode that I didn't even know that the European one was different from the American one for the longest time.
Why would you?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
I think
from a distance, it's impossible to tell because the text on the front literally just says Super Nintendo, and the Japanese one is exactly the same. It just says Super Famicom.
The difference between the American one and the European one, I had no idea that there was a difference.
But what I mean is you could have seen a picture of it, but not known it because it looks exactly the same. You have to look really close at the writing to see that it says Super Nintendo, not Famicom.
Yeah, and like the same for me, the other direction. Like growing up, all I ever saw in Europe was the European SNES. So when it was years later that I saw this awful purple thing, and I was like, "What? This was the fucking American Super Nintendo?"
You just got used to it. Ty said, I thought it was kind of cool. But...
Like even when I first saw it, I thought it was like a Mega Drive 1 or Genesis 1, Genesis 2 situation where they had one crappy console first, and then they made it look nicer. But
to be fair, Cyrus, there's lots of things that we didn't know about in Europe, like every single RPG. There was an article recently. I think it was because of this Super Nintendo Classic thing coming out. Like lots of European outlets were kind of going back and researching about those kind of things and finding out, why none of these freaking RPGs came out. And they actually did a count, and I think it was less than 20%. I can't remember. Like of the RPGs that were available in the States came out in Europe. I think it was between literally maybe 15% of the games came out. It was kind of ridiculous. It was like, no, not even close, But people always say, yeah, but you got Secret of Evermore. It's like, never played it.
Oh, that's a okay. All right.
Kind of sequel to Secret of Mana, I think, kind of thing.
Yes. No. All right. Well, I think it's going to do it for the feedback. So we're going to go ahead and close out the show. Before we do that, though, a reminder to all of you guys out there, please, 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 please leave us reviews on iTunes, Facebook, Google Play, Stitcher, Stitcher, and wherever else you can. Not only
bathroom stall walls.
Bathroom stall walls, that's fine too.
We'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, primarily, aside from the bathroom stall walls, I mean, it's not just to, pump up our egos or something like that. It does make it so it's easier to find the show on wherever you're listening to us at as well.
Yeah, so. Reviews are a genuinely helpful thing. If you can give us one, it is very appreciated.
Yes. So I'll tell you what, if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I haven't done that yet. How about you just drop everything you're doing right now? I don't care if you're driving or working or whatever. Stop doing that.
This is more important.
Yes, go ahead and write a review. It could just say something like, "You guys rock," especially Danny, and give us 5 stars, or as many stars as you think is appropriate. I hope it's 5, but yeah, we would really appreciate that. So, closing out the show, this is where we give out our Twitter handles and all that bullshit. So, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. You can follow me at DannyBiv, DannyBiv. James, how about you?
Did you make friends with that Danny, what was it, Bevens guy? I found that guy, Danny Bevens.
Yeah, I was confused.
Did he reply to you?
No, he didn't.
I was trying to get you a friend. There was a guy called Danny Bevens, and he was interested in Nintendo. Well, what do you want?
I think I followed him, so.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck to the pair of you. Yeah, at Family Complicated. If you want to be hooked up with someone with a slightly similar name to you,
James has nothing better to do with his time. Doing stuff like this, so you're welcome. Ty.
Yeah. My Twitter account is Super Cat Drugs. I got some pretty awesome fighting game memes.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and check that out.
Cool.
Learn all about the greatness that is Geese Howard.
I'll have to check that out and get educated. Cyrus, how about you, man?
You can find me at Celsi, where currently I don't post very much because I'm hella busy. But come back in a couple of weeks and I might post something. That'll be good times.
Sweet. Sai, let me ask you a question. Did we do a good job of not ignoring you this episode? Or
it was pretty good. I was hanging on the edge there. It was like, okay, he's done James, he's done himself, he's done Ty. This is the Twitter handle. This is my moment.
Okay.
I've already forgotten it.
Were you? Okay, doke. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for the show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting us and all that. And, of course, thank you guys for joining me.
Oh, yeah. You're talking to me now.
Talking to you guys. Sorry.
Busting a weird fourth wall breaking thing.
Yeah, it's like, who's he talking to? He's looking at me.
All right. We're done. We're done. See you guys later. Bye.
Good night.
Peace.